Hello and thank you for joining us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Najat Tijani. President Muhammadu Buhari has implored the new envoys posted to Nigeria on tour of duty to be accurate in their assessment of the country while reporting to their home governments. This, he says, will go a long way in achieving greater understanding and cooperation between Nigeria and their countries. The president stated this while addressing the envoys shortly after they formally assumed official responsibilities in Nigeria. State House correspondent Adam Usambu reports.
The new envoys who are in the State House to present their letters of credence are Mr. Yanko Yudanu of Bulgaria, Chui Jiangchung of the People's Republic of China, and Muhammad Tayyab Azan of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Others were Hidayat Bayraktar of the Republic of Turkey and Valery Kirduda of Ukraine. Addressing the new envoy shortly after, President Muhammadu Buhari said the bilateral relations between Nigeria and their respective countries are most cordial, but more still needs to be done towards enhancing these fraternal ties.
The need for greater unity of purpose and concerted efforts to address our common challenges, such as climate change, terrorism, insurgency, population growth, especially the catastrophic impacts, cannot be underestimated. These challenges underscore the need for the international community to work even more in concert with each other to collectively identify appropriate ways and manners to globally resolve these challenges.
The president said his administration will not only cooperate with the new envoys in fulfilling their mandates, but engage them more effectively towards enhancing Nigeria's collective interests with their countries.
As we are all aware, the pre-coronavirus era was already faced with the challenges of attaining sustainable development. Some countries were even faced with additional challenges, like securing their territorial integrity against violent non-state actors. The unprecedented crisis brought by the coronavirus pandemic has now caused far more serious setbacks to our quests for sustainable development. Hence the need for international cooperation and collaboration to fight the disease, as no country is immune from its devastating effects on lives and livelihoods.
President Buhari urged the new envoys to strive towards building on the successes achieved by their predecessors as a matter of priority. The Bulgarian ambassador to Nigeria, Yanko Yudanov, who responded on their behalf, conveyed to President Muhammadu Buhari the best wishes of their respective heads of state and their desire to deepen and expand bilateral relations with Nigeria in critical economic sectors.
Our countries have continuously considered Nigeria close friends on the African continent. It is in this regard that we are determined to further build on the bond of friendship and partnership, to further enhance the existing forms of cooperation, and to further develop new initiatives in the areas of common interest. We are confident in your support, Mr. President, to these efforts, and we are entirely sure that the future of our cooperation will be one of further progress and prosperity.
All the new ambassadors and a high commissioner were earlier on arrival at Nigeria's seat of government treated to a befitting welcome as part of the age-long tradition and practice enshrined in the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
On the security front, President Muhammadu Buhari has written to the Senate requesting confirmation of the appointment of Major General Farouk Yahya as the Chief of Army Staff. This is in compliance with Section 18, subsection 1 of the Armed Forces Act, Laws of the Federation 2004. Major General Yahya, until his appointment, was the theatre commander, Operation Hatlankai, the counter-terrorism and insurgency operation in the northeast. He is Nigeria's 22nd Chief of Army Staff and replaces the late Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru, whom they called on federal government to name a military structure in his honor. They also paid tribute to the late Ahmed Gulak, who they said was engaged by the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Constitution Review. The leader of the Senate, Yahya Abdullahi, drew the attention of the Senate to the boat accident which claimed the lives of more than 100 persons in Wara, Kebbi State on Wednesday, 26 May 2021, and called on the authorities to provide relief materials to families of victims and to review inland waterways operations in the country. President Muhammadu Buhari has charged the nation's security and intelligence agencies to expedite efforts towards rescuing 200 children kidnapped from an Islamic school in Niger State. The president, who received briefing on the latest incident of school kidnapping, condemned as unfortunate the kidnapping of children from schools and urged all agencies involved in the rescue operation to do their utmost best to secure their immediate release. He also directed concerned government agencies to extend possible support to the families of the kidnapped children. Meanwhile, Niger State government has confirmed contact with the abductors of more than 100 pupils and teachers of the Salihu Tanko Islamia School, as well as some passengers on board a Sharon commercial bus who were also kidnapped along Tegina Road in Rafi local government area of the state. The state deputy governor Ahmed Mohamed Ketso disclosed this while briefing journalists shortly after the State Security Council meeting held at the government house, Mina.
Abducted children who were able to identify the contact, and the effort is being made by the security agencies to ensure their release by special grace of God. Secondly, we are not certain with the number of the pupils that were adopted. So the issue of ransom does not arise here. We are trying to negotiate to see how we can bring them back safely. On the issue of whether proactive, government at any given time is always proactive. Because of our proactiveness, that is why you can see us for almost how many hours in a meeting, strategizing, looking at our present security attack show to see what effort can we do to make sure we bring those pupils back safely. Already we are in contact with their parents, we are trying to console them, but we are making an effort to make sure.
The 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew to curb insecurity in Tafa local government is paying off and must be backed by intelligence sharing between security agents and residents for effective realization of set objectives. Stakeholders agreed on this at a security meeting in the council secretariat. Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji reports.
Coming on the heels of recent unrest as a result of rise in the spate of kidnappings, the Security Summit, which had in attendance interest groups from Tafa local government, dwelt on tackling root causes of insecurity.
Of recent, we have witnessed series of kidnappings, with particular reference also to Gauraka. The strategic location of Gauraka vis-a-vis the border and federal capital requires the federal government to come into this matter. Otherwise, we will get the issue to be out of control, and of course that means the federal capital, Abuja, has also become very vulnerable to these people.
Chairman Tafa local government summed up the position adopted.
The major thing we have to have done first was to invite the family of those that are at hostage with the kidnappers, to show them that we have not neglected them, we are part of them, and we are doing every possibility best to see how we can rescue those people at hands of the kidnappers.
Regular interaction to fine-tune strategies for better governance remains a hallmark of Tafa local government. Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji, NTA News.
Meanwhile, normalcy is gradually returning to Tegina following the abduction of 136 children at the Salihu Tanko Islamia school in the area, while the proprietor of the school and some other affected parents have appealed for the quick release of the underage children. Mukhtar Abubakar gathered that the ages of the abducted are between 5 and 15.
Although normalcy is said to be gradually returning to Tegina town, with business activities picking up, some of the residents, especially the parents and guardians of the abducted school children, were seen sitting in clusters with only one thing on their lips: the tragedy that befell the whole community and how their children will be brought back to them unscared. The people of the community, who said they have put in all their hopes and aspirations on God, appealed to the federal government to intensify action in ensuring safe return of the abducted children, lamented that they are too fragile to go through the rigors they are currently exposed to.
3 of my wards were among the abducted children, but one returned. We are calling on the government to help rescue them. 8 of my children are among the abducted children. We're in a state of sorrow. My wife fell sick. The entire family could not eat nor sleep.
The feeling is the same for the proprietor of the Islamia school, who claimed to have had a telephone conversation with one of the female teachers in captivity.
One of the teachers called. She informed that the children have not eaten since yesterday. We are appealing to the police, children to us, please. These children are too young to face this kind of hardship they are facing.
He also said 2 females and 1 male teachers were among the 136 persons abducted from the school by bandits. Tegina is about 20 kilometers to Kagara, the headquarters of Rafi local government area of Niger State, where 24 students and 14 others were abducted at the Government Science College in February this year, while a student reportedly lost his life in the incident. From Tegina, in Rafi local government area, Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
Still on security, the Imo State Police Command has described as false social media reports of the burning of 2 police stations in Imo State. In a statement signed by the Police Public Relations Officer Bala Elkana, the command confirms that some hoodlums in their numbers launched an attack on the police division Umunduba, Isu local government area on Monday, May 31, 2021, but were repelled by the policemen on duty. He says the attackers stormed the station in 3 Sienna buses, 1 Avalon saloon car and about 8 motorcycles, but were engaged in a gun battle. The statement also indicates that a similar attempt was made by some hoodlums to attack Umuma Police Division, but was equally repelled by the policemen on duty. No life was, however, lost in the 2 attacks, and there was no casualty on the side of the police. Similarly, Zamfara State Police Command has arrested 15 suspected hoodlums in connection with a violent protest in Kaurana Moda, local government area of the state. The spokesman of the command, SP Muhammad Shehu, who made this known in a statement, says 3 locally made guns and some other weapons were also recovered from the suspects. The statement enjoins parents and guardians to warn their wards against engaging in anything capable of undermining the relative peace in the state, as the police will not condone acts of lawlessness. Some irate youth today barricaded the Kaurana Moda Gusau Road, purportedly protesting against rising insecurity in the area. The violent protest, which brought transportation on the ever-busy highway to a standstill for several hours, was later contained by the police. Meanwhile, Governor Bello Muhammad of Zamfara State has approved the immediate suspension of the Emir of Ansado in Maru local government area of the state, Alhaji Husseini Umar. The governor further approves that the district head, Alhaji Nasru Muhammad Sarkin Kudu, will oversee the affairs of the emirate. Similarly, the district head of Nasara Milai in Birnin Magaji local government area of the state, Alhaji Bello, has been suspended from office. His suspension is also with immediate effect. The governor consequently approves the constitution of a high-powered committee under the leadership of retired DIG Mamman Ibrahim Zafi to investigate the activities of the two suspended traditional rulers. He asks that security agencies effectively implement the presidential order to shoot any bandit, person or group seen unlawfully carrying guns across the state. The governor has similarly dissolved the State Executive Council with immediate effect. The secretary to the state government, the chief of staff and the deputy chief of staff to the governor are also relieved of their respective appointments. The chairman and members of the state commissions and boards of various agencies are also dissolved. In a statement signed by the special advisor to the governor on public enlightenment, media and communication, Zailani Bapa, the dissolution does not affect commissions provided for by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Recommendations on how Nigeria could resolve the menace of armed conflict and violence are still in the front burner, with the latest coming from the West African Action Network of Small Arms, which leveraged the 2021 Global Action Against Gun Violence. Ikechukwu reports.
Please, may we at this junction stand up for a minute silence for all who have died from gun violence and all who have been killed on the line of duty.
This 1 minute silence underscores the enormity of deaths rising from gun violence in Nigeria.
Africa is enmeshed in serious troubles and is a continent that ordinarily should have been the hub of global activities, trade and finance.
This gathering is therefore putting together ideas on how armed conflict in Nigeria can be a thing of the past.
It is in the interest of our peaceful coexistence as citizens of Nigeria that all those involved in importing and distributing arms in Nigeria must stop.
European experience confirms one thing. Without the activity of social and non-governmental organizations, it is impossible to build a conscious civil society. And without conscious civil society, or at least its foundations, it is impossible to resolve ethnic conflicts, intercultural friction, or...
This conference is responding to incessant killings of Nigerians by armed criminals in all parts of the country. In Abuja, Ikechukwu, NTA News.
Thank you, Ikechukwu. And now we'll head to Lagos, where Hingino is standing by with more reports on Nationwide. Hello, Hingino.
Thank you, Naja'atu. A roadmap towards the validation of the draft Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) 2022 to 2026 strategic plan and strategic program of action will soon be implemented ahead of the 2023 general election. Chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, in his message to the 2021 National Retreat said the action plan is to address challenges in the electoral process in Nigeria. Diana Ajali reports.
Coming on the heels of spate of arson and vandalization of INEC facilities and properties across the country, Chairman of INEC, Mahmoud Yakubu, says the Commission is more than ever determined to ensure that it delivers on its mandates to conduct free and fair elections in the country. He, however, challenged participants at the retreat to be thorough in its recommendation, noting that the retreat will have positive impact on the electoral system.
The need to monitor the process of the implementation will be very crucial after the validation, because there are many milestones to be met before the 2023 polls.
This will be a great democratic rendezvous for huge masses of citizens, especially the youth, who will have the opportunity to get their ticket to the poll and prepare themselves to be actors of change.
The 2022 to 2026 plan and program were developed following a comprehensive review of the 2017 to 2021 strategic plan at both state and zonal levels of INEC. In Lagos, Diana Ajale, NTA News.
The House Committee on Works is assuring prompt funding and timely completion of all federal government's infrastructural interventions in Lagos State, considering the special status of the metropolis to economic growth. Michael Olale reports that the committee commenced their oversight with a visit to Echo Bridge, which is due for closure a few days from now.
The third mainland bridge is indispensable for quick navigation to the island, but Echo Bridge plays complementary role. This explains the urgency to fix the shifted deck and cracked bearings when the integrity of the bridge was questioned early last year. The first phase has been done and dusted, but come June 4, Echo Bridge will be closed again for the second phase of repairs. The House Committee on Works is worried about the likely implications that might arise as a result of the repairs and wants the actual contractual period to be within 4 weeks.
Before 4 weeks, we'll come back here and make sure that that 4 weeks is realistic. And we ask him the issue of compromise of the standard, it will not be entertained, it will not be accepted. In fact, the contractor, made a commitment that bridge will last for the minimum of 25 years.
The committee members who were also at the Marine Bridge to assess the replaced expansion joints explained that the pivotal role of Lagos to trade and investment in Africa placed a huge responsibility on them to ensure that projects executed meet specifications. Other projects inspected include the Apapa-Oshodi-Oworoshoki Expressway and the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway.
The delivery days, as we have given you, are still sacrosanct. Apapa-Oshodi, by the grace of God, we are completing it this year. Lagos-Ibadan is going to be completed by 2022.
The inspection tour is part of the committee's oversight function to the southwest at ensuring that monies budgeted are adequately utilized. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
We now take a break. Nationwide continues shortly.
As Oni of Ife, as someone who cares about the well-being and safety of our people, it's time for each and every one of us to realize that COVID-19 is real and it has killed millions of people around the world. Scientists have developed this vaccine. The vaccine is safe for everyone and it contains no microchip, nor can it alter our DNA. However, we must continue to stay safe and stay clean, wear face masks, clean our hands on a regular basis, and try as much as possible to avoid a very large crowd and gathering. For those who choose to be vaccinated, it will go a long way in protecting yourself and your loved ones from COVID-19.
Visit our website on www.nta.ng for more news and updates, or follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now. You can also like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/NTA Network News. Stay connected and subscribe to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our news live streaming at www.nta.ng/live.
Revision classes on television for students in secondary schools in English and mathematics will commence on the NTA. The revision classes will transmit Mondays to Fridays from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA. This is organized in preparation for the various national examinations and orders. This is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Education.
It's the dawn of a new era on NTA's flagship program, the Sports Parliament, revitalized with lots of varieties, including feedback responses from viewers. Sports Parliament, the weekly sports show that exposes all the intrigues in the Nigerian sports sector and projects an agenda on the way forward for Nigerian sports. On NTA every Thursday at 10:30 p.m. running for 1 whole hour discussing sports. The parliamentarians are more committed than ever to enlighten the viewers as the Sports Parliament takes it to a whole new level on the floor of the House. Keep a date with the Sports Parliament as motions are moved every Thursday on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, with his gavel to harmonize sports resolutions. The House have it.
This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA, and we're talking diplomatic matters now. President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday in Abuja called for joint international efforts to tackle the menace of COVID-19 with spillovers into dwindling national economies, requiring a global net framework to ameliorate the burden of struggling citizens and reignite growth. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the President made the call at a ceremony to receive letters of credence from ambassadors of the Republic of Bulgaria, Mr. Yanko Iordanu, People's Republic of China, Mr. Kui Jianchun, High Commissioner of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Mr. Muhammad Ayab Azan, Ambassador of the Republic of Turkey, Mr. Hidayat Bayraktar, and the Ukraine, Valery Kirdoda, at the State House. The President notes the need for greater unity of purpose and concerted efforts to address common challenges such as climate change, terrorism, insurgency, and population growth, highlighting their catastrophic impact and why the challenges cannot be underestimated. These challenges, he says, underscore the need for the international community to work even more in concert with one another to collectively identify appropriate ways and manners to globally resolve these challenges. President Buhari welcomes the ambassadors to Nigeria, urging them to build on the successes of their predecessors while assuring the government will continue to support their mission in Nigeria. And to legal matters, legal experts are applauding the Buhari-led administration in bringing sanity to the judicial system with a call on government to invest more in the institution of accountability. This was on NTA's program Good Morning Nigeria while discussing 6 years of the Buhari administration, a focus on the judiciary. Ekimini Williams reports.
The judiciary is often referred to as the last hope of the common man when it comes to dispensation of justice. How has the Buhari-led administration fared in its 6 years of the administration towards strengthening this mandate? Guests on the program are affirmative of the positive changes the administration has brought to the table in the areas of speedy dispensation of justice, limited interference of political elites in the judicial system, fight against corruption, judicial autonomy, among other reforms.
In terms of allowing the judiciary to handle appointment of judges and not interfering in that respect, letting seniority prevail in that process, because it is important that the independence of the judiciary must be preserved, to a large extent. That has been recognized.
I very much commend the administration also for being very mindful of its responsibility to ensure that there's less corruption on the bench.
Before the advent of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, we were living witnesses to free election matters being delayed in judicial system for over 10 years.
They, however, raised concerns over the recruitment process in the judiciary, implementation and enforcement of the state's judiciary autonomy.
Judges are still on the same salary. Judges have been on the same salary for more than 10 years, for some 15 years, depending on when you were appointed. So these are demotivating factors, and our judges still write down proceedings in longhand. This can be killing. That's why cases are not moving smoothly. The Executive Order 10, which the administration has also issued, because for me, that's going to be one of the biggest legacies of the administration, if they can successfully establish and institutionalize the autonomy, financial autonomy of the judiciary.
Then we also pray and plead that the Federal Republic of Nigeria should allow its citizens to access the African Court of Human Rights. Other countries are submitting to the jurisdiction through the declaratory reliefs and all that contained in the protocol creating the court.
The guests further advised government to respect court judgments and constitutional provisions. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
And a new executive management board has been inaugurated to revitalize and reposition the affairs of the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund, NSITF, to achieve its mandate. Tasking the new executive management, the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, cautions the new helmsman not to indulge in the same infractions which led to the termination of appointments of past management. The focus of the new board is to ensure that the provision of the Employees Compensation Act is carried out to the letter for every benefit when the need arises.
The total overhaul of the Department of Procurement of the fund, and in this overhaul, all staff who have been there since 2017 are to exit. And those of them who have been indicted in the panel's report will receive appropriate punishment as recommended.
The new executive management, led by Dr. Michael Akapoku, has a period of 4 years. Now, Water Resources Institute promotes food security. This and more from Kaduna, and Amina is our guide.
Naja'atu, welcome to Kaduna. The National Water Resources Institute, Kaduna, says it is committed to the promotion of non-native crops in parts of Nigeria, while empowering youths on modern agricultural practices to stimulate growth of the sector. Director General of the Institute, Professor Emmanuel Adanu, stated this while hosting management of NTA Kaduna Network Center on a visit to have first-hand information about activities of the organization. Ahmed Umar Kudan reports.
The primary mandate of National Water Resources Institute Kaduna, established in 1979, is sustaining impact on the development of Nigeria's water resources sector through capacity development and research in the training and retraining of water engineers, technologists, and technicians. Director General of the Institute, Professor Emmanuel Adanu, says training for healthy agricultural practices through effective water management is accorded priority. Non-native crops with ginger in southwest and cocoa in the north, fruit and vegetables, as well as snail, rabbit, and fishery production is gaining wider acceptability among stakeholders. Unemployed youth will receive training towards enhancing food security.
We need to publicize this for everybody in Kaduna as well as the country to know. And this is the best opportunity for it. So we are committed to this visit and whatever comes out of it.
The essence basically is to cultivate non-native crops to increase food production and create job opportunities, and also to enhance youth empowerment.
Zonal Director, NTA Kaduna Network Center, Hamza Musa Makarfi, says the organization will assist the institute in propagating knowledge on managing water resources of the country. In Kaduna, Ahmad Umar Kudan, NTA News.
Participants at Train the Trainer workshop in Kaduna have vowed to overcome the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic towards putting experiences into practice to achieve economic development. Haruna Mohammed reports.
Governments have sustained addressing rising poverty among women and youth in the country with implementation of various strategies over time. However, the emergence of COVID-19 pandemic slowed down progress, compelling stakeholders going back to the drawing board. Nigerian Center for Women Development, which put together trainers workshop with participants from 6 geopolitical zones of the country, is to impart knowledge that will assist survival in post-COVID-19.
Nigerian women, especially those of them in the rural areas, who really needs this training, who really needs to be empowered, who really needs to be developed, so that thereafter their children, their families, their communities can also be in one way or the other, affected positively.
If they are not empowered, they can't take care of the home front. So there's every need to sensitize them and get them well equipped.
The training program is also part of strategies by the federal government to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty.
National Center, as one of the training institutions, was given this mandate to go out and train women and youths who are the majority of this majority population of the country, to train them and give them starter packs to start up small businesses to cushion the effects of this pandemic.
Expectations are high as the center rolls out program aimed at job creation and poverty reduction. In Kaduna, Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Naja'atu in Abuja.
Thank you and welcome back to our Abuja studios. From paper to action against all violators of the Child Rights Act, as the Ministry of Women Affairs, in collaboration with UNICEF, inaugurates a technical working group on ending violence against children. Momso Damian Detti reports.
Barefooted, homeless, hungry, without education, exposed to all forms of danger, and now many a time being raped. Those are the challenges bedeviling the Nigerian child. But no more, says the Minister of Women Affairs, as she partners UNICEF to take decisive action to stop the abuse on the future of Nigeria.
As we are all aware, issues of violence against children has taken a very serious dimension that needed a coordinated approach and strategies to address challenges of ending all forms of violence against children. My heart bleeds every Sunday during the special program in between the network weeks, and you see how children are being abused across the country. You know that some people are mindless and heartless. And I urge on members of this technical group on Sundays, make it a point of duty to watch network news. And you will see all the challenges that you also need to address.
From the 2014 report, we see 1 in 5 girls that have experienced emotional violence. 4 in 5 boys and girls that have experienced violence in their lifetime. FGM is about 25%. Child marriage, we look at it at 43%. But we've seen the strong political commitment and resolve by the government to really make a difference in the lives, well-being and protection of children in Nigeria.
The Technical Working Group on Elimination of Violence Against Children is reconstituted, with members drawn from 41 relevant organizations, including security agencies and religious bodies. Momso Damian Dati, NTA News.
And today is World Parent Appreciation Day, considering the sacrifices and undiluted affection of parents. Acknowledging and appreciating their worth will encourage them to continue with their selfless roles. This is the focus of the International 2021 Global Parents Day. Ifoma Aihoje reports.
Designated by the United Nations General Assembly since 2012, the Global Day of Parents each year provides opportunity to honor parents and appreciate them for their numerous selfless roles. Some parents describe parenthood as a demanding task that reflects on the society negatively or positively.
As parents, we need to be part of the children's life in all they do, in their academics, the social activities.
We have to control the things they do, the friends, the people they go out with, especially at this time of computer age where all kids are very smart.
It's not easy to control children, especially at that teen age.
They will give you all sorts of trouble. But if you persist and then take care of them, later they will be taking care of you.
On a day like this, family members eulogize the contributions of parents, describing them as bedrocks of the society.
In this age where almost all parents, both father and mother, are busy trying to make a living, but the truth is, when you would have gone on to retirement, your children can mess your entire name, your entire legacy. They can mess it up. So while we are looking for money, we must also find time to look at the children and to make sure that we pass the correct values to them.
Good parenting, it takes a lot. One, that child will be godly, will have the fear of God, will be useful to the parents, will be useful to the society.
Congratulations, parents. Continue to do more, as your effort in making the society a better place is deeply appreciated. In Uyo, Ifoma Ihoje, NTN News.
Thank you, Ifoma. I also want to thank my father and all parents for their selfless acts of sacrifice. Agatha is standing by in our Benin Network Center. Hello, Agatha. It's good to see you.
To see you too, Najatu. Thank you for joining us in Benin. And here we begin with political matters. Supporters of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP in Edo State, have marched along the streets of Benin, the state capital, in a solidarity walk in support of Governor Godwin Obaseki's victory at the Supreme Court. The governor addressing them said the judgment is victory for the people of Edo State and Nigeria's democracy.
The supporters defied the early morning rains to receive the governor and marched from the Benin airport through the ring road down to the municipal council. Governor Godwin Obaseki, while addressing the people, assured them that the mandate given him to serve is intact and promised to deliver on his electioneering promises. The victory walk, organized by the PDP, is coming 4 days after the Supreme Court dismissed the APC forgery suit against the governor.
And following Friday's Supreme Court judgment, the All Progressives Congress, APC, governorship candidate in the 2020 Edo State governorship election, Pastor Usagi Izeyamu, has congratulated Governor Godwin Obaseki. Pastor Izeyamu, who congratulated the governor through a letter, spoke to NTA News shortly on the development.
Rising from a closed-door stakeholders meeting at the party's secretariat in Benin City, Pastor Izeyamu disclosed that with the election matters now concluded at the courts, he can now congratulate the governor on his victory.
In every contest, you have a winner, you have a loser. I should have done that since, but considering the fact that my party had a pre-election matter against him, and they also had a series of matters against us, it was a bit premature to have done so. But of course, you know that on Friday, the Supreme Court finally handled the last case. And, the cases are all over. Haven't done so. The honorable thing to do is to congratulate him.
While expressing his willingness to support the governor with innovative ideas that will move the state forward, the APC candidate also wished his administration well.
Anybody that wishes the state well will be ready to give advice and give support. So if the governor wants any advice, of course we'll be there. Even if he doesn't want it, we'll continue to give advice because we belong to this state.
He equally described the governor's victory at the court as the will of God. In Benin, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
And away from political matters, about 20 million naira have been disbursed to 20 young graduates and unemployed youths in Ondo State as a working capital for businesses like cocoa, cassava, poultry and fish farming. The program is financed by the International Fund for Agricultural Development with the support of the federal government in the 9 states in Niger Delta. Abiola Ario reports.
The project was engaged in 2 batches of 125 trainees, often referred to as incubatees, who trained for 6 months under the guidance of trainers or incubators who are established farmers across the 18 local government areas of the state. The working capital, paid directly into the incubator's account, will help each incubatee acquire items needed to start the business trained for.
The flow of fund will be monitored by the staff at the office level. Then, not that alone, from the account of the incubator now down to the service provider that supplied them all the necessary inputs to start the enterprise will be monitored.
Some of the trainees are optimistic of a good future for themselves in their choices of farming.
Those that in poultry, I think some of them they got about 1.2 million. In the fishery, we will have about 750,000 naira.
If you are diligent with it, after 2 cycles, end of this enterprise, you should be able to break it.
About 4,250 young graduates, unemployed youths within the ages of 18 and 35 are expected to be trained and empowered in Ondo State within the next 6 years. In Akure, Abiola Ario, NTA News.
That's our package. Nationwide continues in Abuja in just a moment. To stay with us.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support, yes, by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
NTA News 24. A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
Thanks for staying tuned. Normalcy has returned to Enugu after yesterday's sit-at-home order observed to remember those who lost their lives in the southeast during the civil war. James Okpara-Kocha captured the activities in the coal city.
This is the popular Onasata roundabout here in Enugu metropolis, an ever-busy road. Down there is Presidential Road. The end there is the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium. And then you go back is also the other side of Presidential Road. This is the situation in Enugu today as activities, business and work resumes following the sit-at-home yesterday in honor of the fallen heroes of the southeastern part of the country. All parts of Enugu visited, especially the metropolis, shows that life has fully returned to the cold city. Yesterday, the entire city was deserted as people remained in their homes in memory of their dead who lost their lives during the Nigerian Civil War. Even the House of Representatives public hearing on the amendment of the 1999 Constitution as amended is holding in Enugu peacefully. This is the New Haven Junction here in Enugu. As you can see, all parts of the city are bubbling with activities, vehicular movements, and human traffic. The residents are praying that the security situation in the southeast returns to normal as they lament the loss of lives and destruction of public institutions, especially the police and INEC. From Enugu, James Oparekocha, NTA News.
Incessant fire outbreaks at commercial and residential places in parts of the country have necessitated additional measures to stem the tide of the disaster, leading the Federal Fire Service to receive reinforcement of equipment to contain the increasing cases of fire incidents in the country. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
Hardly will a day passed by in Nigeria without a sad news of fire outbreak, destroying property worth millions of naira, including the loss of human lives. But the inauguration of firefighting trucks and ambulances just like this is to increase capacity response during emergency, as well as strengthen the operations of firefighters across the country. The growing statistics of fire outbreak in the country is calling attention to the need for more sophisticated approach in firefighting, which the inauguration of this equipment is set to deliver.
This intervention will address this challenge and save lives, without a doubt. That's why we decided to provide this as basic life support assets in any fire or disaster emergency.
These newly acquired vehicles, once commissioned, will be deployed to the various commands with the aim to better equip commands for better service delivery during emergencies.
Key stakeholders in safety and prevention are synergizing to ensure effective model which will minimize occurrences and impact of disaster.
So far, over 100 firefighting trucks have been delivered, and more are coming.
Training and capacity building of personnel is expected to be scaled up in terms of operationalization with the repeal of existing law and introduction of fire police to ensure safety of personnel during emergency. The renewed vigor is a commitment that is exactly to be matched with professional know-how to save the nation from annual losses of lives and property. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
Traditional Council Tiv area rises against insurgency. Details of this and more as we join Susan in Makudi.
Thank you, Najaatu. It's good to have you join us in Makudi. Tiv Area Traditional Council has re-strategized to curb insurgency and has also upheld the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law in Benue State. This was at its meeting at the Totiv's Palace in Boko with Governor Samuel Utom in attendance. Charles Abba reports.
The Tiv Area Traditional Council members of Benue State, numbering over 1,000, converged on the Totiv Palace, brainstorming on how best to tackle the insecurity challenges in various communities. They described as unfortunate the number of deaths and persons displaced as a result of banditry, armed robbery, herders-farmers clashes, cultism, and other criminal activities. 14 local government council chairmen of the Tiv extractions of Benue State took turn to give situation reports of their respective areas. The Totiv and chairman, Benue Traditional Council, Professor James Ayase, said With the information gathered, there is the possibility of charting the way forward. Governor Samuel Otom, who attended the meeting, expressed worry over the hardship caused on the people by the rising insecurity. He commended the efforts of the Tiv Area Traditional Council in taming the tide of criminality in the state. He also intimated the forum of strategies employed by the state government to address the situation. The governor maintained that with togetherness, the battle against insurgency and other vices would be won. The traditional rulers unanimously gave the governor a vote of confidence for being on the side of the people and for the open grazing prohibition and ranches establishment law. The discussions were in Tiv. From Boko, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Governor Samuel Otom, Senator Gabriel Suswam, and Senator George Akume have met and resolved to work together to foster peace and unity in Benue State. Governor Otom met with the two former governors at a closed-door meeting at Government House, Makudi. Charles Abba again reports.
That was the jovial mood that presented itself after the meeting of the trio. Governor Samuel Otom, the senator representing Benue Northeast, Gabriel Suswam, and the Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, who is also the leader of All Progressives Congress, APC, in Benue State, Senator George Akume, lamented the spate of insecurity in many parts of the state, especially in the Sankara areas, and resolved to unite to strengthen the unity of Benue people and form common ground to tackle banditry and other criminal activities.
We came together, we're all concerned about the security situation in the state, and we have brainstormed on how best we can handle this and other things of economic interest that can add value to our development. We believe that this is the beginning of new things to happen in Benue State.
They said the decision is irrespective of their political affiliation, as development and safety of lives and property are for the benefit of all. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
And that does it from Makudi. It's back to Najatu in Abuja for the concluding part of NTA Nationwide.
Thank you, Susan. And on that note, we conclude the news on Nationwide. Thanks for watching, and remember to stand with NTA against rape and rapists. I'm Najatu Tijani. Keep staying safe.